Hi everybody. Welcome to Yoga for Self-Love with Kim. I'm Kim. This will be about a 30-minute slow flow Vinyasa practice, focusing on opening up through the front body, bringing in some back bends as well. So this should be an energizing practice. You may need a couple blocks. So grab your things and meet me on the mat. Bring yourself into a comfortable space. Just take a little pause here before we start moving. You can close your eyes, bring yourself into a comfortable seat, child's pose, or a little mini shavasana here. Take a moment to check in. Notice what's happening for you today. How are you? What's going on? Let go of judgment, just be curious. I invite you to bring in the intention to be gentle, kind, patient, loving, and compassionate with yourself as you move through the practice today. And if you like, to bring that intention off of the mat and out into your day. Let's begin by just letting everything soften and relax, your whole body. Just let it all go. Any holding, any gripping, any tightness, any tension. As best you can, send your awareness through your body, from your feet, up through the legs, up into the torso, buttocks and belly, back body, the rib cage and chest, your shoulders and arms, your hands and fingers, your neck and your throat, your jaw, your face, your head. Let go. Any tension just melt away. Begin to shift your focus, your awareness to your breath now. Just taking nice, deep, smooth breaths here, in and out through the nose. And now begin to slowly call yourself back. You can flutter the eyes open. Invite movement into your body. Yawn, sigh, wiggle, stretch. And then wherever you are, find your way into child's pose. Bum back to the heels, forehead down to the mat. You can rock your hips from side to side if you like. And then bring yourself up into a table position, coming onto the hands and knees. Rock your hips from side to side. And then bring your hips to center and roll through some cat-cow. Lift the tail, lift the heart, lift the gaze. And then round through the back, press down into the hands, look towards the navel. A few times you roll through your cat-cow. Bring yourself back into your table, neutral spine here. Now keep the hips where they are, lined up over the knees. Begin to walk the hands forward, and lower your heart down towards the mat, coming into puppy pose or Anahatasana. You can release the forehead down to the mat, or you could stack your forearms on top of each other, make a pillow with the arms, rest your forehead down. And then walk your hands back in, coming back into your table. And slowly bring the forearms down to the mat. Find your way down onto your belly. We'll bring it into a Sphinx pose, forearms to the mat. Spread the fingers, root down through the feet. Pull the arms back or magnetize the arms back so you're really not moving them too much, but just engaging the arms and drawing them back towards the back of the mat as you pull the heart forward. And then release that down. Let's take hands underneath the shoulders. Elbows hug in towards the rib cage. Lift your heart up, baby cobra. And release down. Again, hug the elbows in, lift the heart up, baby cobra, or maybe if you feel ready, you can lift up into your full cobra, lower yourself back down. A few more times, lifting up into baby cobra or all the way up into your full cobra, and releasing back down. Find your pace here. A few more. And then release yourself back down. Reach the arms forward. Now lift the right arm and the left leg up. And release. Now lift the left arm, right leg up. Release. Once more each side. Right arm, left leg, lift up. Keep the neck nice and long here. And then release. One more time. Other side, left arm, right leg, lift. And release. Now lift it all up, arms and legs together. And release. Hands underneath your shoulders. Press yourself back up into your table. And then we'll come up to stand on the knees. Take your block, tuck it in between your thighs. And you can have the tops of the feet pressing down into the mat, or you could tuck the toes under. Take hands around to the low back. Fingers can either reach up or down or out to the side. Elbows hug in. Hug in through that block. Lift your heart. Lift your gaze. We'll find this modified camel pose. Squeeze in through the block. Lift yourself back up. Hands come to the heart. Take the hands around behind you again, fingers pointing up or down or out to the side. Elbows hug in, hug that block. Lift up through the low belly, through the heart, and begin to lean it back. Maybe you release one hand or both hands down to your heels or down to the mat if that is available to you. Otherwise, you keep the hands on the low back. And then hands back to your back, hug in through the block, come back up, palms together. One more time, hands come to the low back, elbows hug in, lift up through the heart. You can keep your gaze forward or up towards the ceiling. Maybe you reach the hands back towards the heels or towards the mat. Hug in through the block, walk your hands up through your back, palms come back together. And then remove that block from in between your thighs, back into your table, hands to the mat. Let's take it into a downward dog. Spread your fingers wide, tuck your toes under. Lift the hips up and back. Starting with the bend in the knees here, begin to pedal out your legs or rock your hips or bend straight in the knees or any movement that you like. Feel into your down dog. What does your body need now? Listen to that inner teacher. And then bend your knees, crouch yourself down into tiger dog, and then glide your hips up, downward dog. Bend your knees and crouch down. Glide the hips up to downward dog. Bend the knees again, crouch down. This time as you send your hips up, send your right leg up, also three-legged dog. Release that right foot down to the mat. Bend your knees, crouch yourself down, and then send that left leg up for three-legged dog. Release that left foot down to the mat. Walk yourself up to the top of your mat and come into ragdoll forward fold. Drop the head, drop your brain. Imagine any tension just dropping right out of the top of your head into the earth. Let the earth take that for you, support you. And if you like, you can rock your hips side to side and have hands on the mat or grab elbows. And then bring yourself to center, hands to your hips, press into your feet, lift yourself all the way up to stand, and then bring palms together at your heart. Reach the arms up and release the arms down to your sides. Reach the arms up and release. Reach the arms up. And this time we'll soften the knees, pull the hips back, fold yourself back into your ragdoll forward fold, and then halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Fingers press into your shins or your thighs or the mat. Lift up the belly, lengthen out through the crown of your head. Soften your knees, fold it back in, and again, halfway lift to that flat back. Soften the knees, fold in one more time, halfway up, flat back. And then release it down, press into your feet, come all the way up, palms together overhead, hands down to your heart. Reach up, fold it in. Halfway lift, flat back. Plant your hands down to the mat, and now step yourself back to plank. Press the floor away with the hands, lift up through the belly. Press out through the heels, reach out through the crown of your head, and then lower knees down to the mat. Soften elbows, lower down, pubic bone, belly, torso, all the way down to the mat. Hug the elbows and lift yourself up, either baby cobra or full cobra, and release it down. Tuck the toes, press yourself up and back into downward dog. Step or hop up to the top of your mat, fold back in, ragdoll. Halfway lift to your flat back. Fold it in, press into the feet, rise up, palms together overhead, and hands come back down to your heart. Reach up, fold in. Halfway up, flat back. Drop hands to the mat, step back to plank. Lower the knees, lower down to your belly. Lift your heart up, baby cobra or your full cobra. And lower yourself back down. Tuck the toes. Send the hips back, downward dog. Step or hop it up, top of your mat. Ragdoll, forward fold, halfway lift. Fold in. Press into the earth, come all the way up, palms together overhead, hands back down to your heart. Reach it up, fold it in, halfway lift. Plant your hands, step back to plank. Now you bring it down to the belly, move it into your cobra if you like, or if you prefer, chaturanga low push-up and then upward dog, go for that. If you're moving into your chaturanga, roll forward on your toes, bend your elbows. Elbows will stack up over the wrists. Lower yourself about halfway down, but keep the shoulders above the level of the elbows so you're not dumping into the shoulders. Then come onto the tops of the feet. Keep your thighs lifted. Pull your heart forward through the arms. And we'll all meet back in downward dog. Step or hop it up, top of your mat. Forward fold. Halfway up And then fold it in, root into the earth, all the way up you come, palms together, hands back to heart. Reach it up, fold it in, halfway to your flat back. Plant your hands down to the mat, step yourself back to plank. Move through your vinyasa, your choice, or skip it, meet us in downward dog. From your downward dog, crouch down. Send your right leg up, three-legged dog. Bend that knee, bring it forward into your chest, core plank. Step your right foot through. Let's drop that left heel to the mat. Bend that right knee, pull that right hip back, lift yourself up. Warrior one, arms reach up. Press down through that back heel. Hug in through the inner legs. Right hip pulls back a little bit, left hip forward a little bit, squaring hips off towards the top of the mat. Being gentle, accommodating with that back knee. Make sure the back knee feels great. Palms together overhead, bend the elbows, drop the hands back behind your head, press into your feet, lift up through your heart. And then arms come back up. Hands to the mat, step yourself back to plank. And move through your vinyasa, your flow, your choice. Back to downward dog. Crouch it down. Left leg up, three-legged dog. Bend that left knee, bring it into your chest, shift forward, core plank. Step that left foot through. Now drop the right heel to the mat. Pull that left hip back, lift up, bend that left knee. Warrior one. Palms together overhead. Drop the hands back behind the head, press down into the feet, lift up through the belly, sweep that low back in and up, lift up through your heart. And then arms reach back up, sink a little deeper into that front knee. Hands back down to the mat and step it back to plank. Move through your vinyasa. Step or hop it up top of your mat. Ragdoll. Halfway up, flat back. Fold in. Press into your feet. Come all the way up, palms together. Hands to heart. Reach the arms up. Fold it in. Halfway lift. Drop your hands to the mat. Step it back to plank. And find your flow. From your downward dog, crouch down. Send that left leg up. Bend that left knee, bring it forward, core plank. Step that left foot through. Drop your right heel. Hug the left hip back, lift up. Bend that left knee. Back into warrior one. Now interlace your fingers around behind your back, elbows bent, fingers press into the sacrum, press down into the feet. Again, zip up through the legs, up through the belly, up through the heart. Now either keep your elbows bent or you can begin to bring the arms a little bit straighter and pull the hands up off of the back. Still keep some softness through your elbows so you're not totally locking the elbows out. Press into the feet, lift up through the heart, and then we'll fold it in. Bring the torso down towards that front leg. Arms peel up off of the back. And then root into the feet. Lift yourself back up. Sink back into that front knee. And again, we fold it forward. Torso comes down towards that front thigh, maybe inside of it. Arms peel up off of the back. Keep that left hip pulling towards the back of the mat. And then lift up. Bend that left knee again. Sink it back down. One more time, let's fold it in. Arms lift off the back, and then lift it back up. Release the hands, bend that front knee, reach the arms up. Now hands come back down to the mat, step yourself back to plank. Find your flow. Crouch yourself down into your tiger dog. Send that right leg up, three-legged dog. Bend that knee, come forward, core plank. Step right foot through. We'll drop that left heel to the mat. Bend the right knee, lift up. Arms reach up. Squaring hips up towards top of the mat. And then interlace fingers at the low back, elbows bent. Or maybe you straighten the arms. Still keeping the softness through the elbows. Lift up through your heart. And then begin to fold in. Right hip pulls back. Torso comes down towards that right thigh or inside of it. Hands peel up off the back. Press into your feet, lift up. Sink into that front knee. And then again, we fold it forward. Arms reach up. One more time, lift yourself back up, sink into that front knee. And then last one, fold it forward. Waterfall warrior. Lift yourself back up. Bend that front knee, reach the arms up. Hands down to the mat. And move through your flow. Step or hop it up, top of the mat, ragdoll. Halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Fold it back in, press into your feet, come all the way up. Palms together, hands back down to heart. Reach up, fold it in. Halfway up, flat back. Drop your hands down to the mat, step yourself back to plank, and you move through your vinyasa. From your downward dog, pedal out your legs. Bend, straighten the knees. Again, find whatever movement you like here, or be still. Breathe. Drop your knees down to the mat. Grab 2 blocks. Have them alongside your hips just in case you want them. You might not want them, and that's okay. You don't need to use them. We'll come back up to stand on the knees again. Knees, foot, shins, and you can tuck the toes under or have tops of the feet pressing down into the mat. Remember the block that was in between the thighs before. Pretend it's still there. Hug in through the inner legs. Lift up through the belly. Reach the tailbone down towards the mat. Lift up through the heart. Hands come around to the low back again. Elbows hug in. Camel modification. Keep it here or reach one hand to the block, other hand to the block. Keep it here. Pelvis radiating forward, heart lifted. So we're not crunching into that low back, keeping the spine long. You can stay here, or again, if it is available to you, can reach your hands down towards the heels. Heels hug in towards each other, hug in through the legs. You can keep your gaze forward or up towards the ceiling. And then hug that imaginary block in through the legs. Walk your hands back up. Hands to the mat, untuck the toes. If they were tucked, come down to sit on your heels. And let's do our camel pose or camel modification again. So blocks if you want them, and get rid of them if you don't. Come up onto the knees, toes tucked or not. Elbows hug in, hands to the low back. Hug in through inner legs, lift up through the belly, up through the heart. Spine nice and long. You begin to lay the head back a little bit if that feels okay for you. Maybe hands come back to the heels. Pelvis forward. And then hands come back to the low back. Zip up through the legs. Lift yourself back up and come back down to sit on your heels. Pause here for a moment. Hands just resting on the thighs. And then find your way down onto your belly again. Hands underneath the shoulders. Press into the finger pads, into the tops of the feet. Lift the heart up. Baby cobra or your full cobra. Look over the right shoulder. Look over the left shoulder. And a few more times, just looking over one shoulder and then the other. And then lower yourself all the way back down onto your belly. Bend the knees, press the feet up towards the ceiling. Reach the hands back in the direction of the feet. Begin to lift up the heart, reach the hands back, lift up the knees, the thighs, press the feet up towards the ceiling. Coming into a bow modification. And then release down, release the legs, turn the head to one side, rest on one cheek. And then bring your head back to center. Again, bend the knees, press the feet up towards the ceiling, reach the hands back. You can stick with this bow pose modification, or if it's available to you, can reach back, grab a hold of the ankles. And then press the feet up, lift up the knees, the thighs, lift the heart. And then release yourself down. Make a pillow with the arms. Turn the head to the other cheek. And then head back to center. Hands underneath the shoulders. Press yourself back. Bum back to the heels. Come into child's pose. Bring the knees together for this one so you feel it all the way through the spine. Nice release through the spine. After that back bending and front body opening. And then come up. Sit on the heels. Drop over to one hip. Swing your legs around. And slowly lower yourself down to the mat. Find your way into Shavasana. Send the legs down the mat. Arms out to the sides. Adjust as necessary. Maybe you rock the head or wiggle the shoulder blades underneath you. Relax. Let go of effort. Stay here in your final relaxation pose, Shavasana, for as long as you like. When you feel ready, begin to call yourself back. Invite movement in, wiggle fingers and toes, roll out wrists and ankles, yawn, sigh, wiggle, stretch. Bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Connect in. How do you feel now? Back to your intention to be gentle, kind, patient, loving, compassionate towards yourself. Cross your arms across your chest. Hands to the back of the shoulders. Give yourself a little squeeze, a little love. Thank yourself for showing up for you, for your practice today. And then release the arms. Slowly roll yourself over to the side. And then bring yourself all the way back up to seated. Palms together at the heart. May you feel safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you live with ease. May your heart be open to love, compassion, and may you know joy. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today with love and gratitude. Namaste.